Duffy's back this week. We're back in the shop and working. Finally got some lights down here. I wish I had the camera going. It wasn't going when I was getting that part done, but as you can tell, it's a lot brighter in here, and I don't have to open the garage door for light. So we actually have made progress, and that's what we're doing. We've put in several lights down through here. I've just picked up old fixtures that, my wife wanted the ceiling fan in the kitchen, so I used one of the lights from there. Just making use of what we got down here in the basement or the shop, and we're just going ahead and getting things done. Right now, I'm putting together a shelf, and I'm going to have this be the electric area. I'll show you that. In fact, I'll just take you on a tour of where all the stuff is, the equipment. It's a wreck, but if you can use a little bit of imagination, it's going to take a lot of organizing and cleaning before we can really get this shop functional. But that's where I'm at, and I'll take you around. As you can see, I've got a big mess, but it's well lit, and I can at least see the big mess to clean it up. So we did put in several lights. Like I said, I took lights from the kitchen that aren't no longer used, and I bought that one, I think, for like $7 from Home Depot. And this one, it came with the one bulb there, and then it had this one and that one when I moved in, and that was it. And we've added all of this down through here. We've got it lit up pretty good. I did have that one round bulb down there, if you can tell on this camera. I had that there, but I added that strip light. That was from the other garage at the garage apartment. I've got two of those strip lights. One was under the awning. I'll take you back to the other side. This is all the shelving, by the way. I've got to organize and put everything up on shelves. I've got plenty of that, as you can tell. It's all been in storage, and I'm trying to, like I say, get things organized. I put all the screws pretty much back in everything to where it's good and solid. And these came with the house. I had 5 sections like this. I kept, actually 6. I kept one in the original garage. They were all up there, and I moved them down here. We're going to use the upper garage just to park the cars, the daily drivers. And as you can see, there's headers, and just furniture and stuff is stored back here in the very back. And I got a couple of welders up there on the shelf, TIG welder and a plasma cutter. And let's see, we've got just camping gear and so forth, and then Firebird parts here. I've got to organize all this stuff and just put things in a place where I can find it. Right now everything's just scattered about. And I'll take you on up here, and we'll go down the other side. And we've got, like I say, an engine up on a stand. This one is rusty and locked up. It's just a Chevy block that somebody had given me. They'd partially taken it apart. They tried to rebuild it, and it didn't work out too good. I don't have 4 of the pistons and rods. I'll have to, like I say, it's a good solid block. I know the block's in good shape. So, and it's standard bore, so it can be bored out. It is a one-piece rear seal, small block 350. I think it came out of a, 93 1500 K1500 pickup, or whatever they call of that year of the OBS trucks, 93 model, and it had the throttle body injection 350. It was a manual transmission originally, so I guess it's got a pilot bearing in the back. Yes, it does. So it's set up for a manual, which that's all I pretty much like. But away from that, we just got, like I say, just various stuff piled everywhere. Everything from printers to filing cabinets, and there's my torches. I've got them capped off. I don't know where my torches are at the moment. I've got the tanks is what I meant to say on my roll around cart. Here's my 3-in-1 press brake. It kind of rusted, getting moved and left out in the weather. It was in a bus for a while. I have to clean all this up. It's on an old shelf I built out of old pallet jacks or pallet shelving. Um, I just make do and make use of what I got. There's a couple more tanks. There's a tank of argon, straight argon, and then there's some CO2 there, and another tank of CO25 that's on that welder right there. I'm going to get rid of that big tank. It's just I'm getting too old to pick those things up. And let's see, I've got a cat crying back here, but probably she's wanting to be fed. But anyway, here's the powder coat oven. The door is off of it right now at the moment. I've got to put all this back together and get all of that working. And then we've got a bead blast cabinet. It's in here and set up. Just got to put it all together. Got a tubing bender there on the side, and there's the stand for it. And I got a 20-ton press, and then here's the roll around workbench that I had, and there's that awning with all my, has the light and all the wrenches hung up there. Just a toolbox there. And like I said, just lots of boxes and junk piled everywhere. I've got to get to this. I've got nut and bolt bins that's got to be hung up and go through all these boxes. There's a couple of engines back here. That's my pride and joy there. That was the one built by Frank Oglesby. 370 cubic inch small block. It's a nice one. It's got the splayed main caps, and it's a forged steel crank, 3 5/8 stroke. So it makes it about a 370 cubic inch. It's 30 over. And then that 455 is bored 30 over. So I think it makes it a 461 or 462. I'm not sure, but it's 30 over 455 is what it is. So, and that's the one that's going to go in the Firebird. There again, that's about it. I'll take you outside. I've got a couple of compressors yet I've got to hook up. They're going to be kept outside under the deck. They're still getting wet, and like I said, they sat in the weather somewhat. We had the compressor heads covered up. They're not locked up or anything, but I got 2 of them. And both of them together will run the bead blaster. This one, the blue one, could not run the bead blaster if I was just doing a lot of sandblasting continual. It would run down. So I had to get a second one, to get the CFM up high enough. I needed about 15 CFM, and both of them together produce that. So that's why I have 2. And it's always good to have 2 in case one fails. So that's where we're at. And back to this mess, it's been raining the past couple of days, and I've got to get this finished too. We got to get a driveway down here where we can work. That's where we started it, and it's kind of washed away some of what I moved down, but it's packing it down too. So we'll have to go back under and repack those, which I figured that would do some settling when it got wet, and that it has. So we'll raise those pavers back up and level them back out again and get some more as we go. And I'm thinking about building it all the way down, probably 5 or 6 more rows of those. If I could, the pieces are only, I think it's like $2 or $3 a piece. I can't remember what I paid for them, but they're not that expensive. So I'll get them as I can and go from there. And we'll get that part done too. So, and of course the kitty has got a catio. She comes outside and she's out there wanting me to feed her. So I guess I better feed her. So we'll get back to it. And that's your tour, and we'll get back to work. Let me feed this kitty so she'll hush. But that's enough talking. We'll get back to work. Okay, this is the area right here. This is right where you come in. The garage door is right here coming in, and this is the wall that comes through to the second section. And I'm putting an area where I'm going to charge all my rechargeable batteries and battery chargers and all my electrical stuff I want to put right here on this wall. And that's what I'm building right now. I put in a wall outlet to give it power. And this is where I'm going to put all my batteries. Like I said, everything battery operated that's got to be recharged. I'm going to try to build this shop up in areas where there's an area for different things, like right now, just watch me work. We're going to put these together here and we'll go from there. Okay, that's it for the day. We got the lighting in this weekend, and that's a big help. See what you're doing, and don't have to have the garage door open for light. That helps a bunch to help get this garage put back together. And also, I was able to, I'll turn you around here, able to get the power tools hung up, all the battery operated stuff, and got it all plugged up and working, and all the batteries are charging, and a little bit organized there, trying to get things fixed up. We've got a lot to go though, but it's a good start. Anyway, until next week.